Hello, everyone, and welcome to the conversation that we're having about You Are Worthy and the You Are Worthy Summit. I am excited to be on with you. I am Trina Bolden Fields. I am a transformation expert and the host of the You Are Worthy Summit. And I'm here with Matthew Reynolds. Hello, Matthew. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, Trina. It's morning for me. I believe it's afternoon, sliding into a little later in the day for you, where you are at. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for catching this either live or the replay. My name is Matthew Reynolds. My pronouns are he, they, we. The we is for my ancestors. I take them with me everywhere I go. I am what I would call a disruptor. I'm more and more, that title is being laid in front of me. More and more, I'm picking up the mantle of being a disruptor and disrupting as many different ideas that do not allow us to see our worth and how worthy we are of just being human and being able to activate our authenticity and move through the world with a truth towards that authenticity and seeing that in each other. So I'm also a world creator, just to let you know. Thank you for having me here, Trina.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for being here. And I'm excited about our conversation. And you and I talk quite a bit about worthiness, about belonging, about stepping into that. And I know we were having a conversation about being and feeling worthy and starting from not feeling good enough. So I wonder if you can share a little bit more about that, and we're gonna, I know, bounce some things back and forth, but this feeling of not being good enough, or the expression of that, the engagement in that, what has come up for you when you're talking with people about this feeling or where they are in life?
Yeah, thank you, Trina. I think that that's a great stepping off and into point, getting into the flow. Stepping in tentatively and at the same time maybe cannonballing into the flow of the river this morning, because I believe that we have a marketing system. So I'm going to go a little over here, a little over there, sink it in. We have a marketing system that's based on scarcity and us not being enough. You know, you need to have this scent, you need to have these things, you need to look a particular way, and then you'll be attractive to others. When we know that our human connection runs a lot deeper than that, and our human connection to each other's way of being in the world is something that we were born with. And then you throw in on top of that just our lived experience for some of us, how we were raised, where our cognitive brain was when particular traumas were brought up. The idea that neuroscience is finding out about the ideas of epigenetics and generational trauma and how far back that goes. So this sense of not being worthy, not having a sense of self has been carried forward generation after generation. And then I started looking around going, well, if I'm really dissecting that, how much of my thinking is my thinking? How much of it has been an indoctrination that I am not worthy enough, that I'm not worthy enough unless I have these, physical things, a car, a house, a spouse, children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm never allowed to intrinsically sit with myself and feel what I'm drawn to. I'm constantly bombarded by the status quo and dominant culture as to what I need to have to be worthy. When we were born worthy and we were born enough. And so it's a sloughing off of these indoctrinations, I believe, and healing of some of these traumatic wounds to be able to get to that truth that we were all born with in the first place.
Mm-hmm. The truth that we were all born with the first place, which is that we are worthy and we are enough. What do you think that? So what you're sharing is that it's these definitions. This is how I'm like pulling this together from other people, marketing, other things that come into us and tell us who we should be how we should operate in the world. But the truth is that each and every one of us human beings, on the basis is that we're worthy.
Yes.
And in life, when tuning into those messages, we get to the point of losing that sense of who we are, that sense of self. And it then becomes our work to get back to the truth of who we are and to the truth of it, of that sense of self.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for putting all that together. Like I said, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here, then I'm going to try to sink it in. But you grabbed all of that and sunk it right in. And that's where I feel, for me at least, it was a no-brainer when you were like, Matthew, do you want to speak at the You Are Worthy Summit? And I was like, yes, I do. I do.
Yeah.
Because I feel that healing to that point, getting back to our humanity and leading with that humanity is going to do wonders for the way in which our world works right now. It's part of the title of my book, Biggest, Fullest, Brightest, Shifting the Consciousness of Humanity. There needs to be the shift that comes from that healing, that we have been indoctrinated into believe that we're not enough and we're not worthy unless we're making somebody else wealthy with material gain. We're wealthy with our human connection if we allow ourselves to be.
Right. We're worthy of with our own human connection if we allow ourselves to be. And like in the work of creating the You Are Worthy Summit, we came up with doing the work of the You Are Worthy Summit because we talked to so many people who shared with us what they were impacted by, of not feeling good enough, of not feeling worthy. And what you shared is that human, like that each and every one of us has our work to do around that. And that's why the summit was started, to help people to address that for themselves and move forward in it. So the summit was set in place to help people get to that space for themselves and create the transformation that they're here to make in their own lives.
Yes.
Through our support. And I want to talk a little bit more about that because we talked about how things come up and how that happens. You talked about generational trauma. You talked about messages that come from the outside. You talked about being in a society where we're in a capitalist society in the U.S. where people are working to make other people money, right? Versus really understanding their own worth and doing it for themselves. And we also are in a place where we get to shift that at any moment, anytime, at any point, right?
Yes.
And to step into something different. And you talked about belonging as one of those ways to do that. And I know you're going to be sharing more about belonging and talking in detail about that at the summit. But what are some things that you can share with people today? The importance of belonging, moving into what that means for them, that will be helpful in thinking about their journey forward.
Beautiful. When people come into my Crafting Your Equity Lens workshops, I believe that a lot of times through the front loading work that we're inviting people to do, the Let the Healing Begin packet, that folks take a look at and work throughout the 3 weeks prior to their first day. There's a lot in there that has to deal with belonging. After the second day of the workshop, introspection, a deeper connection through self-reflection, people start to understand what their own definition of belonging is, what they need to have a sense of belonging. You know, words like trust start coming up, community starts coming up, the ideas that they can bring all of themselves, an emotional intelligence, being able to bring all those emotions to a space that they're allowed to be in. And it doesn't have to be this leaving things at the door. And I think once people start understanding that belonging and what they need to feel that sense that all of me can be present and can be here in this situation, I think that we start to see more and more that others go through a similar thing, that we're more connected than what we thought, that the very things at the heart of who we are as human beings have been stunted by the fixed mindset of capitalism, by the fixed mindset of the status quo. And sometimes we've placed those things with or upon ourselves because of, like I said before, what our cognitive brain was taking in during certain points in its development of our youth, right? And what society was saying to us or traumas that were happening. So once we start again sloughing those things off and really start to look at, what do I need to feel a sense of belonging here? Who needs to be in the room with me? Are they bringing their authenticity? Are they really wanting to have a sense of belonging? Then we're building communities. So I think right now what I would say to folks is, who is your immediate community? When you hear me say this, are there names and faces that pop into your mind's eye? Are you like, oh, I can vent here. This person always listens to what I have to say. They know that I'm not necessarily looking for advice. They know that I will ask for advice when I want advice. They also hold me accountable to the things that I'm responsible for because I put it out in the world that this is what I wanted. This is how I wanted to be treated, or where I wanted to be, or who I was going to ask certain things of, or how I wanted to treat my body, right? All of these things that we're being held accountable to and being responsible for, we have people in our life knowingly, consciously, or unconsciously that we go to get that support of the truth of who we are. And those are the folks that help us to see what belonging means to us. So I invite folks to acknowledge that. Reach out to those people over the rest of today, or after you see this video, whenever you might watch the replay. It's Friday, so we're heading into the weekend. So maybe sometime over this weekend, shoot somebody a text, FaceTime with them, call them up, go for a walk with them, get out in nature, put down the screen, and connect with them in that sense, right? And say, hey, I watched this video and they were talking about belonging, and you're one of the people that I have this sense of belonging with, and I want to grow that, and I want to nurture that, and there's healing within that. And these are small pods that we can spark and start to do that help us get to our worthiness and give us that worth. And this is a small nugget, right, of what you are actually going to get if you come to the You Are Worthy Summit and be able to really step into some of the other calls to action that you're going to hear from other speakers. Your toolkit is going to plump up, and there's going to be many calls to action of stuff that just feels good to you, to the truth of you, to the authenticity of you, so that you can grow your own worth and that you can walk in the world in the truth of that authenticity. So yeah, thank you, Trina, for that pointed question that pulled all that out. That brought some clarity to myself as well. So thank you.
You are welcome. And we want to invite everyone to the You Are Worthy Summit. And I'm going to drop the link here and where you can go. youareworthy.live/Matthew. Make sure to use the HTTPS in front with the colon and the double slash. youareworthy.live/Matthew. Because it's important to be in the room. You talked about creating community. This is one way to do it. You talked about stepping into that authenticity, and your session is going to be about authenticity and belonging, and this is the way to do it. So we want to invite folks to join us at the summit.
And yes. And I just got hit with something, Trina, when you were talking. Sorry for the interruption, but I know that at the summit we had spoken before that there's going to be specific rooms that folks are going to be able to have that community in, right? That people are going to find that support. Can you speak a little more to what these rooms of support are going to be about and be for, and maybe why you set those up for folks, for participants that come to the summit?
Definitely. So during the summit, we are going to have rooms available for attendees to be. There'll be a room where you can go and just be. Where it'll be silence and be able to process what it is you need to process. We'll have another room where you can just listen, where there's maybe one person sharing and everybody's taking turns, and it's just listening. No need to respond. Just take in what someone is sharing. And then we'll have another room where people can talk about the action that they plan to take from their experience at the summit. And this is why also that we're having it for 3 days, because times when you're making huge leaps and changes, sometimes you may need a little bit of time to let certain things settle and percolate and have the energy that allow it to shift into what it needs to be. So the 3 days gives us time to take in what we're getting on day one and make something with it, and it becomes something, the energy necessary on the next day. Take in all of what we need on day two and process that, and it becomes the energy of what is necessary, what it needs to be on the third day, and then have an action plan to move it forward from there. And so the summit is created specifically to provide space and time for that. We want you to be able to get what you need out of the summit, as well as a practical plan, something that you can implement right away, the support to do that, and the space to let it simmer, settle, and be reignited. So that is why, Matthew. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And can I add on that it's also going to give you an opportunity to network with others. I'm just feeling that the way that you've structured this and built upon it is that you're also networking with other people, and you're going to allow that human connection to be there, and you can start creating these pods of accountability. It's not going to stop at the summit, right? And that third day is the beginning. That's where the true beginning is. Yes, there's going to be a kickoff at the start of the summit and everything, and some people think, oh, this is when it's starting, and then when the third day hits, oh, what did I learn, and now it's over? No. To me, and what you just explained, Trina, I'm totally hit with, oh, here's an opportunity for me to be in community with others and true communal healing, where I get to, some things are going to start to bubble up to the surface for me. I'm going to start to feel certain things. I'm going to get tools. I'm going to start seeing an action plan. I'm going to bounce that action plan maybe off of a few other folks who have something maybe similar to it, or who challenge it, spark it. And then I'm going to be able to be like, hey, let's stay in contact. Exchange that contact information, be able to take this information back. Or that invitation I gave to folks earlier, inviting you to talk with the people who you feel a sense of belonging about, maybe bringing this information back to them and saying, hey, this is what I got from this summit, and I want you to be my accountability partners. This is what I want to activate. This is the impact it had on me, and I want to activate this and put it out into the world and let that really start to roll out and really start to shift and change, and help you create and craft the world that you want to have, that you want to live in, that you want to leave for the next generations as we move forward. So thank you again, Trina, sparking me this morning. I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you, Matthew. And one of the things that I'm starting to share a little bit more widely with people, and it's important to do this, because the You Are Worthy Summit is a summit that, I created and brought all of these beautiful partners in. A lot of the speakers, I know Marja and myself did this last time. Dr. Fanike was on with me as well. Arthur Rutledge, a number of folks, Joseph Kim, Eva Medelik, Rabia Paracha, a number of speakers that have partnered with us on this summit. And I create things that bring about transformation. Because when people interact with me, the truth be told, they leave transformed.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. And the summit is going to do just that as well. And so I'm grateful for all the partners that have come together to create this, to take the vision of the You Are Worthy Summit and to share it with everybody, to allow for that transformation to take place. A number of the speakers who are coming on the stage, including you, Matthew, are creators, are healers, are transformational specialists, are people who will help you take an idea that you have and to make it into something tangible. That's why the people are speaking, who's speaking at this summit.
Mhm.
And this is a beautiful opportunity to be around people who have that ability to help you transform what's been going on for you that you want to shift and change into what you want to shift and change it into. And so we invite you to join us at the summit because it's going to be that experience. It's going to be that engagement. And we are super excited about it at the You Are Worthy Summit for you to come and get the transformation you need to live the life that you're here to lead. Yes.
Yes.
And make sure you visit us, visit that summit. Remember, youareworthy.live/Matthew. Make sure to use the HTTPS:// before that as well,
Yes.
to join us at the summit. Matthew, what else do you want to share about that?
There's it's like the transformation you were talking about was happening within me as you were talking. It's been happening in this whole conversation. There are connections that are being made that are allowing clarity for myself and also growth for myself. As you know, my talk has shifted and transformed ever since you're like, yes, let's do this summit. I'm going to put it out there. Let's go for it. And so that really resonated with me, and I'm going to take that with me into my day today. And I also want to put it out there for folks who are watching this or watching the replay. It's like, if you're getting hit with things and you're feeling some kind of way, and you're not quite sure what it's all about, get a hold of me. Get a hold of me. mrrconsulting.org. On there, I have a Calendly link. Set up I'll give you right now an hour of my time. I'll give you an hour, a complimentary consultation to talk about the You Are Worthy Summit, to see where you're at with all of this. You're like, Matthew, you said this kind of resonated with me, or this kind of happened, or this was, you said sparked, and that's exactly how I felt, was sparked. Can we talk a little bit more about that? Can we bring some of these things up? Because I am a firm believer in shifting the consciousness of humanity. And if you are feeling that and yet that's resonating with you, come on, let's talk. Let's get this moving. Let's get this activated. Let's put an impact out there that isn't just dropping a pebble in the pond, which can be impactful, and it can start rippling out and create some pretty big waves. I'm all about these days grabbing big, huge handfuls of these little stones and throwing them out there into the pond and watching that cacophony of just like everything going, people healing and learning and sharing that with each other, and truly allowing themselves to become their biggest, fullest, and brightest. So thank you, Trina, for an opportunity to help me do that and step into my own, and now helping me give that back and move that forward with others.
Thank you, Matthew. And for everyone who's tuning in live or listening to the replay, thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in and doing the work to bring forward your innate gifts and talents in being who you're here to be. And if you know you need the support, join us at the You Are Worthy Summit. You can get in touch with Matthew. If you have questions, you can get in touch with me as well. You can reach out to us here. You can reach out to our team with questions and take Matthew up on his conversation as well. We are here to make the connection for you. So thank you so much for tuning in and for being a part of our conversation. We will be back on soon for another message about You Are Worthy. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we look forward to talking with you soon.